Yo! Video games.
What up, dudes? Matt here from YoVideogames, and I'm following up my big fat June prediction video yesterday for first party with today with third party. Now, obviously, first party is the one that gets all the big, talk and buzz and headlines and yada yada. But I mean, let's not forget how important third party announcements usually are, and sometimes, oftentimes, can be stealing of the whole show. So I'm going to do my best to rack my brain and try to remember all the third parties, or at least all the third parties that haven't been bought and merged away together, and see if I can come up with a pretty decent list of what I think will probably be announced. Now, again, this is called a big fat June prediction, so I'm going to be taking swings here. Wild swings. Do I expect all of them to happen? No, I don't. Do I expect some of them to happen? I kind of do. But this is not a video. This is not a video of realism necessarily. This is a video of I'm going to take a big gamble. This is a video of big gamble. I'm putting it all on, betting it all on 0 or 00 here. So, anyways, let's get started with Capcom. And again, there'll be a little crossover from last episode here, and I'm gonna say RE9 gets announced. It just kind of feels like we're kind of at that point where it's been a while since we've heard about an RE project from Capcom. Like RE4 is a couple years old now, and I'm not saying it's going to come out this year, but I'm saying it's going to be announced this year, and obviously next month. So I'm putting it in. I think Capcom is getting ready to show off Resident Evil 9. I only say that because a remake was the last game, so I think it seems like they've been kind of doing this thing where it's like, new game remake, 7 remake, 7 remake 2, 8 remake 3, remake 4. Actually, did they bounce from 3 RE3 to 4 to I don't know. I might be a little off on that actually. So, but yeah, it seems like they kind of go back and forth between remakes and brand new ones, and I think it's been some time since Resident Evil 8. So I think Resident Evil 9 is it's a coming. So my big prediction for Capcom next month somewhere. I predict that it'll be at Sony State of Play. It could be somewhere else, but I predict Capcom will show off Resident Evil 9 next month. That's my big one. Next one is going to be from Konami. I didn't talk about this. My big fat prediction is Konami is going to show off a big new Castlevania. When I say a big new Castlevania, I mean like a 3D, probably God of War 2018, Dad of War inspired version of Castlevania. Big 3D, expensive one. And why do I think Konami's doing this? Well, they've done a big remake with Bloober Team for Silent Hill 2. They're doing a big remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 this year. And the big third pillar of Konami's always been Castlevania. And I think they're probably gearing up to do that. And the thing is, a lot of people don't know this. I actually talked about this recently on the YoVideoGames stream. Konami is the most desired place for graduating game designer students in Japan to work, because they actually are offering some of the highest wages, and they're doing a lot of hiring and bulking up. So I think a lot of people don't know this, but Konami is actually trying to get back into the game as far as video game development goes, and they're going on a big spree, and they're actually being very competitive with their wages. So I think Castlevania is going to be a big pillar of their resurgence. So get ready. I think we're going to see a big fancy 3D Castlevania, similar to how Lords of Shadow was once upon a time their big fancy expensive 3D God of War. We're going to do it again, only instead of classic God of War, it'll be Dad of War style. So, yeah, get ready. It's happening, I think. Namco is next on my list, and this one, I'm not going to talk about games that they've have announced necessarily. This is a video about predictions of seeing new games that are either known but never been officially shown or unannounced. And Namco's a hard one because other than Tekken and Soul Calibur, Namco's mostly known for some of their big collab games. Like, they really work with FromSoft on Elden Ring or whatever. So it's kind of like a weird thing where a lot of Namco stuff is more like, Namco, like, Dragon Ball FighterZ, for example. I don't think of it necessarily as a Namco game. I think of it like an Arc System game. And I think of Elden Ring as a FromSoft game, or Dark Souls as a FromSoft game, not necessarily an internal Namco game. And I think Namco probably would like to, at some point, become more known for their own internal stuff. And my prediction, I don't really have much to go on here, but it's been enough time. I think it's time for a brand new Tales of My Asshole. Tales of Arise was well received. It sold pretty dang good. Got DLC, way later, and it's been some time since Tales of Arise came out. So I think the next Tales of game is happening. My hope here is that Namco sees just how good the sales were for something like Elden Ring, and I hope they see sort of the acclaim certain games like even Expedition 33 are getting, and other RPGs where they won RPG of the year, I believe at the game advertisements. For the year Tales of Arise was in it, but it was kind of like it didn't get game of the year, just RPG of the year. So I think Namco would like to sit there and be like, we want to put one of our games that we made internally. We want to get that up on Game of the Year pedestal because they won for Elden Ring, but really FromSoft won, and like Xenoblade 3 got nominated for Game of the Year it was in with Elden Ring. So I think Namco probably wants to kind of like bust out of the sort of 2-3 million ceiling that like a really good Tales might get, and be like, you know what, let's shoot for like a 7 to 10 million selling Tales game. And the way they do that is budget and scope, and so I hope the next Tales of game actually goes big on its budget and scope, because rather than doll up what is essentially a PS2 game with Unreal 4 assets that was Tales of Arise, I hope they actually go big with the next Tales of game and really break through with the franchise, because it's always been good. Like most Tales games aren't bad. Most of them are actually pretty good, but none of them are outstanding. And I think it's time we get an outstanding Tales of game. So I think maybe that's a big surprise Namco shows off at Summer Games Fest or somewhere, where like, hey, here's a big fancy giant scope, big budget Tales of My Ass game from Namco. So I hope that happens. Next we have, of course, Sega and God, again, my thing, going back to what I said, they're going to announce it like Microsoft show. I'm sticking to it. I think I actually don't know if it'll happen. This may not happen really, but Persona 6. I'm going to take a big swing here. I say Sega/Atlus is going to announce Persona 6. This will be the year that it gets announced. It'll come out 5 years later, but it's going to get announced this year. This is the time. We're finally going to get it. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Persona 4 Remake is next. Persona 4 Remake is next. Yeah, that's entirely possible. They might just want to do that, focus on that before, but I don't know. Like, part of me thinks, like, I don't think Persona 4 Remake would be as exciting as a whole ass brand new Persona 6, and I think maybe a big swing like that is happening. So I'm saying, the other thing is, please, for the love of fucking God and all that is holy, Sega, let me see actual gameplay of Virtua Fighter 6. I want to see the actual game. I want to see gameplay. I don't want any of these like tiny little teasers. Show gameplay, for God's sake, for VF6. You have blue-balled the VF community for 6 months. It's time to show the game. Rant over. Squaresoft. They've basically come out and said, we don't have much. We don't really have anything. So this is actually difficult. I expect there'll be Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD. I think maybe we see a slightly, somewhere between a Final Fantasy VIII and a Final Fantasy X-2 scale remaster for Final Fantasy IX. I think Final Fantasy IX has been teased for a while. They've got like that website thing up. I think it's about time. It's probably going to be Final Fantasy IX. Final Fantasy IX remaster will show up. It'll look pretty decent. It'll have a nice glow up. It'll be like a little bit more, like a slightly more effort remaster than some of the stuff they've done. But obviously, it's not going to be no Final Fantasy VII remake level of game here. So, but I do think we'll see like a nice fancy glow up of Final Fantasy IX. That's all I got for Square. I mean, they said it themselves. They got nothing. So I'm taking them at their word here and saying like, yeah, maybe a Final Fantasy IX remaster, which I think plenty of people will be happy with. Nothing wrong with that. That's a good, nice game to get people excited about. As far as like Chrono Trigger, anything, we've pretty much reconfirmed, yeah, nothing's happening. So Yuji Horii would like to see something happen, and maybe it'll in the future, but nothing going on right now. And of course, the big elephant in the room, Xenogears, that's not happening. I've detailed why on my channel in before, so you can look up that video. And I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon, but would be a weird, interesting get from if they did an exclusive with Nintendo for the Switch 2 on that. But I wouldn't count on it. Next up, let's move away from Japan and let's move over to America. And what is EA gonna show off in June? I don't know. Like, it's EA. They make Madden and Football Club, and they just kind of suck money off of kids through their online casino that is those sports titles. Battlefield 6. That had leak footage. Yeah, Battlefield 6. That'll get shown. Yay. A lot of people out there will care. Not me. Ubisoft. Poor badgered Ubisoft. I think Ubisoft will actually finally show off the first footage of the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake. Now, the game was announced and it was shown, but it was completely pulled from its original dev team and was sent back to a different studio and started from the ground up, just like Metroid Prime 4, which you just saw in the video there. So I think about now sounds about right, where Ubisoft's going to be like, okay, so what does the Prince of Persia remake of the remake look like now? Has it been long enough? Probably. I think we're actually going to see Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake actually finally surface next month. That's my bold prediction for Ubisoft. Nothing crazy, but you know what? I don't know. Like, Ubisoft's just looking for a buyout right now. So, 2K, obviously they're going to show Mafia, which they've already shown, but I think there is a non-Ken Levine based BioShock that's been in development, kind of like a worst kept secret for an extremely long time. And I'm going to guess at Summer Games Fest, we will see the brand new 2K BioShock reboot next month. Again, it's never been officially shown. I don't even know if it's officially known. Everyone knows it. It's been known that it's a thing that's happening. That this is going to also go along with Judas, which is the actual Ken Levine BioShock, not BioShock in space game that he's making. But I think the actual BioShock reboot from 2K, I think it gets shown off next month. Will it come out this year? I don't know. Probably not. Don't care. But yeah, that's my big prediction, is that a BioShock reboot will take up some serious Game Fest time. After that, I'm scraping the bottom here, but like, I could see Amazon Games showing off footage of Tomb Raider, the Tomb Raider game they're making with Crystal Dynamics. Next month seems like a decent time to officially show what the game even looks like or how it's going to play. I think that's a huge possibility. I think it has probably been enough time. Maybe not. I don't know. And then the other one is, speaking of poor badgered companies, you've got Embracer, Darksiders 4. I think, not Darksiders 4. Would it be 4 or would it be 5? I can't remember what the last one officially was called, but yeah, there was 3 was the Souls-like. But yeah, Darksiders 4, finally concluding the story. I could see that happening. I'm going out on a swing here. I think there's going to be a big old Darksiders game from Embracer, where they actually tried to make good on the story tease that's been teased for like 3 console generations now. So yeah, I think Darksiders 4, that's my big guess, is like that's going to come out and people will be excited and it'll actually look pretty good. Gunfire games. People liked Darksiders 3. It was a little low key with its release, but. And I wasn't really thrilled with the idea of like, okay, every Darksiders seems to take inspiration from something. 3 being a Souls, sort of Souls-like, and didn't, kind of scared me away from even playing part 3. But I'd still be interested to see what a nice big Darksiders 4 game could look like. So yeah, that's my sort of prediction for that side of the gaming world is, yeah, Darksiders 4. I think that might show up somewhere. Yeah, Europe's interesting because Europe is in this place right now where European devs are, and Gunfire, I believe, is in Texas, by the way. So, but Embracer's European, the publisher, where half of the European developers they're pumping out some absolutely stellar, amazing stuff, right? And then some stuff is kind of like struggling to find its footing or identity, and that's true of American games, definitely, and Canadian games as well. So we're in kind of an interesting time here where, like, they're, depending on where you are, parts of the world are like devs are either thriving or dying, and there's no sort of like just sort of existing right now, and that's a little scary and a little like, I don't know. I hope things come together, you know, for those who are struggling, and I hope that the critical acclaim that's come with other devs rewards them, and we can stop this industry-wide obsession with layoffs and short-term games for your shareholders, and a pox on them, the shareholders. May the fleas of 1,000 camels, bite their ass, or however the old saying goes. But yeah, like I hope we get to see some other surprises. Again, I'm not here to predict games that I don't know of existing. I'm here to this is pretty much like a sequel prediction. But yeah, my big fat June predictions for third-party games. There you go. Let me know what you guys think and what you're looking forward to and what you hope to see and what are your big fat predictions for next month. And then let's see how it goes, a month from now. Well, who got what right, if anything, or or what. So yeah, let me know what you think and I'll see you on the channel. Later, dudes.